Just had my first time with a girl last night, and it was a total failure. It was our third date, and when we were leaving the movie around midnight, I finally gathered the courage and asked, "Wanna go to a motel?" She simply laughed and said something like so subtle, but when we got there, she just asked me to park in front of her place and get inside. She lived with her sister, but she was already asleep. We took our cloths off, kissed a little, and took a shower together. I was rock hard all this time, but when it was finally time to fuck, I just couldn't keep it hard. I wasn't nervous or anything like this. I just couldn't penetrate her. At first we laughed it off and I fingered and eated her. She came and we just cuddled for a while. After a few seconds my dick was already hard and I thought it was finally time, but no. It just went soft as I was preparing to penetrate her again. It was one of the most miserable moments of my life. She said it was fine and that it happens, but I couldn't get it over of how terrible my first time had been. In the end, I just said I was going home. She spent the entire day sending me messages, memes and stuff as usual, a few pictures of her dad's birthday party, and finally asked if we were okay. I haven't answered her yet. Not even know what to say. I still feel terrible. She is so fun and so hot. I don't want her to think I don't think her attractive, especially since she has told me she don't feel attractive since she is small and a bit overweight, which I think is nonsense. She has an amazing body, but I also don't want to go through it again. I'm considering taking some medicine next time I met her, but I'm not even sure if there will be a next time.
Am I the ass for letting my kids disturb my husband during an important work meeting after he said he would handle them for a day to prove how easy my job is? Not the a-hole. I'm 31F and my husband is 36 meters. We have 2 boys, a 5 years old and a 7 years old. My husband works in an office and he has the option to work a few days a week from home, but he prefers not to because he says it's easier to focus in the office. I run a small business from home. I don't have a lot of daily work, just some emails and planning maybe 3 hours a day. But the business does make about a third of our household income. But my younger son is home all day and just dealing with him takes a lot of energy. He's really high energy and will probably wreck something if you leave him alone for an hour. And then the older one comes home at 3 and both of them are with me until 8 or 9. Which is when my husband usually comes home. A few days ago, I was really tired and I didn't make dinner. When my husband came home, I asked him if we could just order something. He was also tired and we were both short-tempered, so we ended up snapping at each other. He said I should have at least ordered before he got home and he was hungry. I said I forgot and it's not fair that food is always my problem. He said that I'm home all day and I even admit I don't have much work to do, so I'm basically a Sam and should at least take care of dinner. I said he has no idea how much I do every day, and he said he'd handle the kids for an entire day while also working from home just to prove it should be easy for me. I said sure, so he made the arrangements to work from home yesterday. I slept in, and when I woke up he was already frazzled from getting the older one ready for school. He ended up having to cancel a meeting to make breakfast, and was worried about that. Then when he took another meeting later on, the boys went out to play in the yard and got super muddy, and left footprints all over the house, which he then had to mop, and I didn't help at all. By this point, I did feel sort of guilty because it was definitely harder for him to take care of work at the same time, but all I wanted was an apology. He said he was doing this to show that I do nothing all day, and if he just admitted he was wrong, I would have helped out straight away. Later on, he had another meeting, and he told the boys not to bother him for an hour. But about 20 minutes in, they got in an argument about something and our younger one went into my husband's room to complain. He was really loud and my husband's video was also on. Then he told the kid to leave him alone, but he was upset and crying and wasn't listening. After a few minutes, my husband went back to the meeting and apologized to the other people. When it was finished, he was really angry at me. He said I could see what was happening and I just watched him struggle without helping. I said all you had to say was please help. He said I shouldn't be so petty and prideful. This probably made him look a bit stupid in front of his manager, but it was only a few minutes and I don't think it was the huge deal he made it out to be.
Today, my next-door pregnant neighbor knocked on my door. Around p.m. today, I heard some knocking on my door. I opened it, and it was my next-door pregnant neighbor. She was, I think, in her 7th or 8th month. She was holding a small plate in her hand. In a very shy voice, she asked me if I can give her some of whatever I was cooking because she liked the smell. I think pregnant women sometimes have strong cravings, and they cannot resist it. Anyway, she was shy and apologized a lot for her request. Since we don't know each other, I laughed and told her it is okay. I was cooking a traditional meal from my country, and the recipe has olive oil, garlic, jalapenos, and some spices. I think the smell was nice. I gave her some of my dinner then. She left. I watched her walking home like a cute little penguin who's happy with her successful little hunting. Felt really happy too for some reason.
I Photoshop every photo of my mom. My mom has really had a hard time the past few years. When she entered menopause, she gained weight, and no matter how much she works out or what diet she tries, she cannot drop it. So I started lightly photoshopping pictures I take of her before I send them to anyone or print them. I just snip a little here and there, slight reshaping, and smoothing out a few wrinkles. Nothing drastic, but enough. Since I have started this, she has started acting more confidently and has stopped making negative remarks about pictures she is in. She loves being in pictures with everyone again. It has really helped. I have not told anyone and never will. I'm dying but haven't told anyone. I was diagnosed with cancer a little over 2 weeks ago, after a regular checkup. Turns out I have a tumor on my colon that has spread to other areas, liver and lungs so far, and will require extensive chemo and surgery for any chance to live longer than 8 months. I'm not having any treatment, and I haven't told my wife because she only pressured me to get the treatment, which result in months of pain and suffering for a relatively small chance. Instead, I'm making sure our last few months together are filled with only happy memories. I'm starting work later and finishing earlier each day, to make her breakfast in bed and take her on dates in the evenings. My landlord I rent my workshop from has agreed to let me run my business rent-free for the next 6 months, which means significantly less financial stress, and I can save a lot more, so she has something to carry her over afterwards. I hope she forgive me.
I Pavloved my girlfriend. My ex used to use a specific shampoo, and over time I noticed that every time I smell this shampoo on other people I automatically think of her, and this got me planning. For my current girlfriend, every time we got down to business I put on a cologne that I saved specifically for those times. No matter how spontaneous the action was, I found the time to put on a puff or 2 of this perfume secretly, and then continue. After we'd been going on for a couple months, I began to do tests. I put this perfume on when casually walking in the kitchen past her, and just sat down in the living room. Soon enough, after couple minutes she got here and initiated sexy times. Now I use it occasionally, am very careful not to overuse it, so it doesn't spoil the effect when I want to get he going, and it works well enough. Smiley face. My favorite is putting it on before going out to a public place and watching her get super worked up and unload at home. But did you ever stop to think about how I feel? She asked me, tears streaming down her face. It hurt to see her like this, to see her in this much pain. No, why would I? You're nothing to me, I replied, my back turned to her. I couldn't let her see my face. I was crying, of course I was. I loved her. If I told her that she would have stayed and destroyed herself to try and save me. I couldn't let her do that. Well then, she said. Her voice desperate, clear exhaustion within her sighs. Goodbye, then she turned. She was gone. As she left, I turned round. She doesn't deserve the hell I was going to put her through. I walked to my liquor cabinet, pouring my whiskey into the cup I had before she came. I cried silently. Everything hurt. It hurt to breathe without her. Cancer's a bitch, I told myself, taking the last sip of my whiskey. I broke up with a single mother. My girlfriend F29 has 3 kids from a previous relationship. My girlfriend started expecting me to take on more of a fatherly role, which I wasn't ready for. She wanted me to discipline her kids, help out financially, and basically act as a father figure while she focused on her career. I felt overwhelmed and out of my depth. I'm still trying to figure out my own life, and suddenly being thrust into a parental role was way too much for me to handle. I tried talking to her about my concerns, but she brushed them off, saying that I needed to step up and be responsible. In the end, I couldn't ignore my own feelings of discomfort and unease. But what's making this even more challenging is that she's been getting her friends to harass me online, accusing me of abandoning her and her kids. On top of that, she texts me every night, saying that she'd kill herself if I don't take her back.
I just spoke the wife of the man I've been seeing for years. She just had his baby a few months ago. I am being 100% honest with her about everything. He fed me a lot of love lines. I was sleeping but awoke to a TXT from what I thought was my BF. Who TF are you? How long have you been my husband? I've been seeing this man for 3 years. The TXT was from his wife of 2 years. I asked him if he had a wife or GF and all along he insisted I was the only one. Yes, I am a fool. I bet, hook, line, and sinker. I've never been in this kind of situation before. I feel so bad for her. I answered her questions and told her anytime she has questions I will answer them in detail. She has my number. And pretty heartbroken myself. I never wanted to be an other woman. I am drinking cosmopolitans and trying to understand what just happened to my good sense and instincts these past few years.